Nyaji Chimbo Zotin Hingme Shang, Zonim Hollam Chimbo, Abjada Bakar, Arno Sandu Hirmado, Tomba Tuji Chanla Kipshang, Sar, Roman Chuje, Anji Podana, Disum Sanji Gunjingo, Nye Ransum Churgun, Salama Namla Gupsha, and Zor. Good morning. It's cold today. I thought not many people will show, but we have lots of people today, so you like cold though then. All right. Today I'm going to talk a little bit and teaching on the Gardamba, not Gardamba, Gambopa's instructions. So some are very important to understand as a Dharma practitioner. So I think this will be very helpful in your meditation practice. And generally, if we have established a good foundation, then we can sort of receive further teachings. It's okay? No, okay. Okay. Like here? All right. Otherwise, I usually think, and my root teachers always say that it is pointless to try to find further teaching, further sort of sacred teaching, because it is very important that your meditation always start by creating a sort of good foundation. Then it will be easy to understand, easy to practice if you have a good foundation. That's why don't really look for the secret teachings or the higher teaching. So and so now the some of the Gampopa is actually very good teacher, of course, garden master. So according to his instructions for us Dharma practitioners, he said that the good practitioners must to understand and need to do few things must be abandoned and few things not to be abandoned. So we have to know those things. And the first of this is Gampopa talks about that what kind of teacher we should really abandon and what kind of teacher we should looking for. I mean, for the Buddhist point of view, to find a good teacher is the most important. Usually, Buddha said that you should not sort of based on your practice or your learning this Buddhism is not based on a person. It's based on a Dharma, the teaching. You should investigate that. But also, at the same time, to find a good teacher is very, 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 very important. So that's why always uh, 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 when we talk about the teaching, and especially not just like learning, but uh, the teachings put into your practice, it's very important to have pure and good sort of oral instructions from the lineage and teacher. So that's why, Gamboba talk about first what kind of teacher you should abandon. And he said that we should abandon teacher is a teacher all of whose sort of actions and whose motivations are mixed with the, we call it it worldly dharmas. Remember last time we talked this Edwardly Dharma. Very important to understand for the Buddhist practitioners, Edwardly Dharmas, like, remember, gain, loss, fame, infamy, praise, prize, and blame, or happiness or unhappiness, all this. So, uh, uh, for example, the first two are like gain and loss. Uh, this is not, I think, it's not correct words, but you know, uh, like pleasure, pleasure at gaining something, or displeasure uh, at not gaining the object of you desire. That's we call it like marnyitpa, means like uh, uh, misfortunate, fortunate and misfortunate. That's the first two things. uh, and of course, happiness and unhappiness, uh, all of that. So some a teacher who sort of whose motivation, especially, and action and conduct mixed with this kind of Edwardly dharmas concerns or Edwardly dharmas. Um, Although this kind of teacher uh, very sort of learned and may give you very profound explanations and teach and speak very well, but the problem is this kind of teacher has no realizations, and especially all they're sort of concerned with their actions and motivations, and whatever they do are really sort of interesting for themselves, and uh, sort of becoming famous and wealthy, and sort of um, etc. Like this Edwardly dharmas. Um, uh, are not really genuine teacher, you know. Um, Therefore, the Gampopa said that we should abandon this kind of teachers. Um, so now you think about these Edwardly dharmas. Um, I think, unfortunately, um, it is almost impossible kind of to find a teacher who is not concerned at worldly dharmas. I mean, uh, that means who sort of, makes all of these worldly dharmas are sort of equal, right? Equal. And who develops all of them sort of, equanimity, which means like there's no difference between um, gain and loss, fame and infamy, etc. Um, One thing I can tell you, my root teacher is really like that. Is he has no difference between um, pleasure and pleasure, something like that. It's a um, we had, we had this kind of teachers, um, like, the garden masters. Remember last year we talked about the mind training teachings. We talked lots about this garden masters. So I'm sure still, we have many, I believe that sort of, many seeker yogis, which means seeker yogi means like who makes no show of uh, his or her qualities or accomplishments. Um, Vietnamjara in Tibet, we say, which means like everything they do is in a sort of hidden way, um, to help others and to practice themselves, um, not really showing like this, what do you call it, this commercials, posters, like and everything is in put in internet, and they don't like that kind of things, They just help you very hidden way. Uh, like think about Pabta Rinpoche. Pabta Rinpoche is the most famous teacher in Tibet, but people don't know him. It's just people know his names and people know that his qualities and how amazing teacher. But if you meet him, you don't know who he is. Like he never shows that, um, like I'm a good teacher, or I'm a special, or I'm better than you, or no, he's very like shows all his conduct and everything is like ordinary person. You never know. You can't tell. I mean, even though he is full of qualities, but uh, so that kind of teacher, like think about Malaripas, uh, um, we call Bipa Namja, hidden secret yogi. I think we call it secret yogi. Malaripa and this Gardambas teachers. Um, we have still, in Tibet everywhere, I think, I believe that this kind of secret yogis, uh, but they really, this kind of teacher are difficult to know how to find and where they are. Unfortunately, we have lots of teachers here and there, everywhere, especially these famous teachers. I like to investigate, and I'm not sort of, I'm a person that not really easily to believe and without understanding like that. But most teacher, I think, of course, include myself, uh, very much concerned at worldly dharmas, you know, happiness, unhappiness, pleasure, unpleasure, big difference. Think about that. It's difficult to really find a good teacher, uh, especially these 21st centuries, because um, it's very difficult. Uh, so then today we're talking about this teacher. What should we do about the Gampopas? This instruction. He said that if some a teacher who uh, concern who, especially motivation, right? Uh, Mixed with this outwardly dharmas, we should abandon this kind of teacher, right? We should abandon this teacher. Uh, so what should we do? I mean, he is amazing teacher, right? Gampopa is amazing teacher. Uh, but I think it is okay to find a teacher who must at least definitely have sort of love and compassion, and especially genuine bodhicitta, you know. Um, because if someone teaches without bodhicitta, then that means the motivation will be selfish, right? People who have no sort of bodhicitta, that means selfish person, selfish. So that means exactly what Gampopa is talking about, like that kind of teacher or person whose motivation mixed with Edwardly dharmas, with based on ego or the selfish. So always Papato Rinpoche say that to check whether or not teacher has the qualities of bodhicitta. That's first how we investigate and find a teacher who has really genuine bodhicitta. I think that is the point, that is the point. Otherwise, it's difficult to find people who are a teacher who is not concerned, at worldly dharmas. I mean, who who is really not concerned or worldly dharma? Can you tell me? Just one. I don't know. Maybe I'm sure. Maybe it's possible, but it's difficult. That's for sure. It's difficult to find. Uh, how you know him? Well, that doesn't mean like. Well, individually, it's good if one person who has a strong devotion and faith and um, definitely like my teachers say that one time that his root teacher and Buddha, they're no different between them. He has very sort of much devotion and faith. Um, that's very good. I mean, that's individually uh, possible because karmic connection. Um, and um, without investigation, right? Uh, it's good. I met few times him, Chapter Rinpoche. But I did not investigate him because he's a very good teacher, but he's not my root teacher. I mean, I'm not looking for a teacher, right? So I have already. So I'm sure that kind of teacher we have that teacher, but just to let you know that it's okay. I think it's okay. Someone who teaches pure motivation with pure motivation and um, pure, especially have sort of a lineage. Then I think it's okay, even though this teacher very much concerned at worldly dharmas. I think it's fine because that's there's no way to uh, find a teacher like Milarepa, like Papato Rinpoche. So so you have to worry because the teacher is very important for your dharma practice and for your life, um, and also it is important to know that what kind of teacher really you want. So that's why I think the Gampopas talk about the teacher. Um, and um, and then another thing that must be abandoned is um, is place and companions. Companions means your friends, family, people you live with, right? It is important to stay away from people who harm your practice and your meditation and do a lot of sort of obstacles in your life. That kind of companions uh, abandon. You have to. And also place that uh, are either very sort of distracting your practice and gives you sort of uncomfortable feelings, uh, because you will not be able to practice that place, or dangers of your health. You will not be able to sort of get necessary things like food and etc. And also important for Dharma practitioner to avoid unhealthy food and drinks that will cause problem your health and cause problem your practice, um, because we should sort of prolong our lives as much as possible so that we can make us use of this sort of opportunity to practice the Dharma and to help others. So any place where there is danger to your life and harm your practice, you should abandon. Abandon means here, like for example, if you have that kind of friend, you can't abandon completely, which means like, oh, if I have a capacity to help this person, I will not. That you can have that motivation, because otherwise, if you have that, you sort of uh, broke your commitment, your bodhisattva's vow, right? But okay, just a little bit stay away from this person. That's not really abandoned completely. But it's because your practice, because it harms your practice and brings obstacles in your life. So then better sort of stay away from this kind of people and place. And remember, 37 practice of Dharma bodhisattvas said that get away from your birthplace, uh, because in the place of your birth, there are usually people you attached, right, and sort of usually you sort of aggression. So these are sort of main obstacles, um, and for this reason, the good practitioners, I'm saying like good practitioners, going to sort of uncertain place where people do not know them. Um, uh, like remember Milarepa, he practiced very uncertain place. People never know where he is, you know. Um, Usually, people think that uh, it is very necessary to um, continue to associate with people you are attached. Um, and it's very important live with this kind of people. But Buddhist good practitioner's point of view, um, that is not case, because sometimes you really can't help them, right? Can't help them, and especially if they destroy your practice, and uh, makes you very sort of difficult and worry, stress. So it's difficult, you know. Like Milarepa, you know, uh, he became very famous, like Bapta Rinpoche, you know. Um, so people really want to see uh, him, but you know, he never sort of lived in a one place. You know, he lived there, and then people knows him, and then he moved away. You know, like he go away. So I'm talking. These are actually like very very good practitioners, right? Uh, uh, and uh, another thing um, must be abandoned is works and activities that harms your state of your mind, harm your life, harm your practice. Either like mental or physical or both activities that sort of connected with sort of completely non-virtuous, you know, that kind of work and activity. Like for example, you joined with a group uh, that will kill others, or you know, always harm others, like that kind of work and activity you should abandon, you know. Very very important, right? And also it is not good overly busy. I mean, I'm talking about activities, um, busy sort of, you know, with meaningless activities, you know, which means like harm your life, harm your practice. Uh, those two are very important. I mean, we always work and we do lots of things, always busy, but that's not necessarily sort of abandoned, because it's if it is not harms your life, your practice, then you accept that. You don't have to abandon that, right? Another important Dharma practitioner must be abandoned is careless conduct. Careless conduct, that is the sort of cause of other people having sort of no faith and no sort of interest in Dharma, you know, that kind of, you know, careless or conduct. It's important, it's really important, no matter sort of how high your experience and how your realizations are, to be sort of proper in your conduct. Conduct is so important, very very important for the Dharma practice. For example, like um, in Tibet, like you know, uh, we studied Buddhism, and especially like philosophy and practice meditation, um, right? Many years, and you learn it very well, and you speak you know, Dharma very well, but still, you know, the teachers uh, mm, uh, never give you sort of this titles of Khenpo or teacher if you have a bad conduct. In order to receive the Khenpo's title is actually based on two things. One is your knowledge, one is your conduct. So if you have both this, then you get uh, the certificate of Khenpo. So for the Dharma practitioners, so important have a good conduct, good, you know, action, uh, show others, you know, not make sure that not harm, you know, others. Uh, and uh, as we say that uh, your realizations, your practice, your realizations is same as like Buddha, but um, your conduct must be really proper way. You know, I mean, like Bapta Rinpoche, he is real bodhisattva. You know, I also can say that become a Buddha, like he's a Buddha, but he's just like when we see him, it's a very humble person and compassionate person, very sort of, never show that I can do that, but you can't. I mean, like, I'm a special person. But he's just like same as us, like when we see him, ordinary person like that. So it's very, very important. Some these days I know some teachers, they say, okay, my realization is much, much better than yours. So then I can do anything. I can do everything what I want. Um, you can't sort of copy my conduct because you have no realization. That's very wrong. Remember last time we talked about you lose your view and your conduct. So that's why we should. This is also very important for us. We should be careful. Um, uh, Activities and our actions, will not of real sort of, I mean, not harm others. Uh, so these are usually sort of, what Dharma practitioners uh, abandon sort of outwardly, Innerly, innerly Dharma practitioner must be abandoned is what attachment and selfish. Um, you may remember that as the Kamala Shila's stages of meditation said that not being excessively attached to many things. And he said that you should have what you need. You should have what you need, and especially necessary things, and that is enough. That means not being excessively attached to many things, right? And also, he always say being very satisfied with what you have, which means if you want if you want something, and but it's difficult to get. If difficult to get it, then people worry, right? Worried. So being satisfied means if you can't find, then no worry. You have to develop that motivation or whatever. Uh, no worry. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't mean that this means It doesn't mean that you can't have anything if you practice Dharma. You know, um, and Buddha said you must need, and you have that necessary things. It's very important. You need that, but not overly attached to many things that not necessary. Do you understand what I'm saying? So these are we must abandon Dharma practitioners. Remember, teacher, your companion, your place, um, your attachment, your self-centered. Those are very important. And now, the few things that you Dharma practitioners not to be abandoned. To begin with, bodhicitta and love should not be abandoned, because it is the very sort of root of uh, any benefit we are able to give to others, try to help others based on our bodhicitta. So that's why never abandon bodhicitta and your love. And another thing not to be abandoned is the intention to benefit others. Understand? Even sort of when you do not have much ability or capacity to benefit others directly, sort of right now, but you must have to keep sort of the seed of altruism. It is important not to abandon this altruism just because you don't seem to be able to do sort of so much now. But we should keep that this kind of altruism and intention and bodhicitta at the beginning of the path. Of course, no one can sort of perform the vast acts of bodhisattva. For example, when the Buddha first he generated the intention to attain enlightenment, he was unable to do much to help others. But as time went on, though he become extraordinarily capable of helping others, so it is important to begin with the attitude and intention that you will be sort of of great benefit to others. So we have to keep that intention uh, for Dharma practitioners. So important to keep that intention, even though you don't seem that you can do anything or you don't have capacity, but one day you can. Should not abandon. Okay. Another thing not to be abandoned is appearance. Since appearance are the sort of nature display of our mind, it is unnecessary to abandon them. Remember, one teacher, Tilopa, said that it is not by appearance that we are bind or fettered, but by fixation, or the fixation or is attachment on them. So abandon that fixation, not appearances. Remember, our mental afflictions, that is the problem. So it is not what we experience that causes sort of confusion. It is our fixation or our attachment, um, for such yogis, no matter how many sort of how nice and many things surrounding them, no matter how much sort of wealth or property they experience, they do not have sort of any fixation, or attached to them. So that's why the great meditators, there is nothing to feel bad about this samsaric experience. Nothing wrong, this appearance that we experience. But the problem is how we relate it to the samsara, right? Is really wrong. It's based on our attachment, our fixation, our problems. So it causes us not to sort of recognize the true nature of liberation. So we have to abandon that, our fixation, but we should not abandon appearance, which means this world, the samsara, this cyclic existence. There's nothing wrong with this. People always misunderstand, okay, samsara is suffering. They say that, right? Especially when we talk about sort of renunciation. But samsara is not suffering, But how we relate it to samsara is suffering because of wrong, because of our ignorance. So those kind of things, I think, very important to keep in your mind. And now we should practice. Today, I would like you to practice the awareness by focus on your breath. By the way, any questions about the abandoned and few things we must be abandoned, few things we should not abandon? What do you think? What do you think about these teachers? We all need teacher. That's for sure. In Buddhism, uh, there is no way to liberate without teacher, without lineage. No way. So that means so important to find a good teacher. And we have, hundreds of thousands of teachers, right? Some teacher have, they are, let's forget. Okay, so um, so what do you see? What do you think? What do you think that teacher must have qualities? What kind of qualities you are looking for? I mean, Uh-huh. That's different levels, like but spiritually, I mean, I'm talking about the teachers actually spiritual, right? Spiritual teacher, not just a teacher. I mean, just a teacher also so important to have a compassion for their students, take care of the student. But spiritual teacher is more important than just teacher. Yeah. Exactly. This actually, oh, another thing is so important to understand when we say abandoned teacher. Means you have to investigate teacher first, right? First. Abandoned teacher, you should not abandon teacher once you have a strong connection and especially received um, secret teachings and empowerments and all of this because you have the teacher and student, between teacher and student have sort of commitment. We call this vows, samaya. Um, you can't abandon that because too late. That's why make sure um, the first, when you're looking for a teacher, you should investigate. Most people do that. That's we have problem is right now. People have connection and receive lots of teachings from a teacher. Then after that, they know something is wrong with the teacher, then they abandon. That's very bad. Too late. You receive the teachings and especially the Vajrayana teachings and this sacred teaching, you can't abandon it, even though you feel not the right teacher. You have to follow that time. Make sure you should not broke the samaya and keep the commitment. That's why Buddha said first, when he taught, Buddha said that investigate teacher and teaching. You know. Well, I always, most of you, like my old uh, friends, I can say friends, mm, uh, uh, you always came to my class and listened teachings. You remember this. I always say that please investigate your teacher and teachings. And how many times we talk about bodhicitta, the benefit of bodhicitta, how important You see, I think, now it's like we uh, learn in these amazing teachings. They always talk about the teachers. It's so important. That's why I think they are talking about the teacher. Um, so, for example, like that, when I look at read of this teaching from the Gampopas or like that, you should abandon a teacher who really concerned their motivation, action, everything mixed with the Edwardly Dharmas. I think, I am not, I have no quality. No, I'm not a good teacher. I will see, oh, see, this is not easy. And then sometimes, I have a feel that I wish I'm not a teacher. You know, I don't know why my teachers give me this, like this job, but I'm concerned. Really, you should. I'm concerned a lot of these Edwardly Dharmas. You- So another thing is, what do you say? Oh, you should take time. Dr. Rinpoche said that sometimes people need to investigate a teacher like at least 10 years. No, it's not too late. If like 10 years, then you will find the genuine, authentic teacher. Then you have no worry about your teacher. You just then the next step. Once you find a teacher, then your next step is how you receive the teachings from this teacher, right? How and that time you just don't need worry everything, because whenever you have a problem with your meditation practice, you have teacher, and teacher means when you have a problem, they will help you, right, with your meditation. Uh, Good teacher has good realizations, at least experience of meditations. They know how you feel when you meditate. Oh, this is not good. This is good. They know exactly because they have that experience. So then they will be able to help you, right? So that's why I think very important. So it's okay. I think it's okay to find a good teacher. And people think that's too long, but it's not too long. I mean, you should take time to investigate teacher. So, for example, like um, genuine, pure lineage is so important. Whatever your teacher teaches you, these instructions from their teachers, that means lineage, right? Lineage. All these instructions from your teachers and the teachers like that, so that's why you also need to, when you investigate your teacher, you have to uh, make sure that you understand lineage, this teacher's lineage. Like, for example, if you investigate myself, what about my lineage? Do you know my teachers and my teachers teachers? Do you know that? That's very important. All my knowledge, my experience come from my lineage. Sometimes I know many teachers uh, teach and give this very um, sacred teachings without lineage. They just learn in a book, lots of read book, you know, um, and no really specific sort of follow the lineage. So then they lots of teachers, I think problem is they very intelligent, right? These teachers very intelligent people, and they just read a book, you know, Vajrayana, the Tantras, Sutras, all these teachings, and then they just teach. Very wrong. No experience and no pure sort of lineage, the blessings, that's what we call it, the blessings. Your experience, your realization is come from your lineage, which we call the blessings. Without that energy, blessings is actually energy, or good karmic connection. Then doesn't matter, someone who teaches you very nicely and you feel so, you understand everything and you're really sort of interested in the teachings. It's intellectual. So now, okay, we have to meditate for a few minutes. Okay, this awareness, practice, meditate on awareness, using focus on your breath. So many of you know this meditation. When you breathe in and breathe out, um, actually there are two ways you can develop your awareness by focusing on your breath. So when you, for example, when you breathe in, just to relax, and very important to sort of, when you breathe in, feel the breath and recognize the present moment. Recognize the present moment. Uh, and then breathe out. Let your mind and breath sort of dissolve into sort of space, and then just to relax in that moment. And that one is very easy one. I mean, and another way is you little bit sort of deeper meditation. When you breathe in, uh, you need sort of turn your attention to the uh, awareness. Your mind is sort of whatever you are experiencing at the moment. Focus your attention on the essence of your sort of pure nature of the mind when you sort of breathe in. You really don't have to focus, especially, focus on your breath, but recognize the essence of sort of this experience. Uh, Experience always there. When you breathe in, breathe out, or you close your eyes or open your eyes, whatever, you have experience. Recognize the essence of that experience. Um, and when you breathe out, let your mind and breath sort of dissolve and sort of that experience, and hold sort of that experience, and especially recognize the nature of experience of your mind, and then you sort of concentrate on that vast empty space. Do you understand what I'm saying? um, Relax. People think, okay, my meditation helps me sort of relax and calm, right? You're looking for that. It's kind of actually, I think that's kind of wrong, you know. to calm and relax is actually, there are many ways you can develop that, not necessarily meditate, you know. But the most important is when you relax, the recognition of your nature of experience or nature of your mind or nature of appearance, that is the most important. In order to recognize that, your mind really needs sort of relax and calm. So for the beginner practitioner or advanced student, both these two combination of these two are very important. First to relax, and then uh, the recognition. You know, recognize the, the essence of uh, this experience. That is the essence of um, shamatha vipassana practice. And also, when you practice dzogchen like that, seems very similar. First, you just relax and then recognize. Not only relax, recognize. Recognition is the most important for Dharma practitioners. Otherwise, you don't know what you're doing. Just to relax your body and mind, but that's it. That's not essence of the. That is not the path, or that's not the foundation of uh, your path. Um, in Tibet, we say rambab sinjokpa, rango shipa means rambab sinjokpa means just relax and um, everything is sort of, you should feel that everything is sort of, pleasant. All of this appearance, like rambabs, there's no judgmental, like, just whatever you experience, just as it. And then rango shipa means you have to recognize the essence of that experience. You understand what I'm saying? And then I mean, so that's the essence of practice, always. Otherwise, you just to relax, you meditate, and then after when you're done your meditation, then you investigate your meditation. What is the point? What is the result? If you don't have a recognition, then you have nothing result. So that's very important. And so this kind of meditation, the point is that uh, you can bring the sort of sense of empty space and relaxation into your experience. If you do this, if you follow this sort of instructions, no matter where you are, you will see. And another thing is so important. I always, we have to keep this in mind. If your thoughts and distractions will arise, always remember, what should we do? Do not further anything. That's the instructions. Do not further anything, which means that you do not sort of produce any further kind of thoughts. Do not follow them and do not sort of reject them. That's so important. Um, so that's the antidote, right? Whenever you practice, just to let it go. Understand? Any question? It's clear? Okay. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Very? Yeah. When you practice bodhicitta like that? Or you're. Sort of, yeah. Sounds like the online practice. All right. Wow, we have 5 minutes. Okay, just I'm sorry, talk too much. Today we didn't have lots of time, but I will make sure that next time we have time to meditate, at least like 25, 30 minutes. It's so important. But meditation means, don't, do not, big, do not develop your mental afflictions. That's meditation. And